Hello, everybody. How are you? I'm so glad you're here. We're here. We're at our fun spot. We're at our destination where all wonderful things happen. We've got our beach towel and our hat and our sunglasses, and hopefully this evening you have a cozy little drink to sip on. Blue is always fun. So, how was it? How was our chat in the car? And how awesome that we made it here together. So tonight, unfortunately, we didn't have anybody that was able to make it to the call. But let's think about that and talk about that for just a minute. That's okay. This coaching series is all about you. It is designed for you. It is for your schedule, and it is everything that we want you to make it. So it's self-paced. So everything that the emails that you've been getting, the videos that you've been getting, those are the things for you to do on your time as you can, including making or not being able to make the calls. And that's why we're doing the videos, so that you can do it whenever you can at your leisure. We want to make sure that you give us some feedback on this series. This is our first big go-round, and you get to be the beneficiaries of that as well. So tell us how these calls are working. Are they working for you? Do they need to be at a different time? Do they need to be delivered in a different way? What do they need to be for you? You guys have been doing great at emailing me, so obviously that's something that we can continue doing and working through. What are some other ways that maybe we haven't even thought of that you would like us to be able to connect with you? Are the calls going to be webinars? I just need to make videos and send them out for you? Give us your feedback. We really want your ideas. So right now, we're going to kind of walk through where we've been, and then we'll go through the tribe tools that you had this week, the last week, which is week 3. So the very first tribe tool that we sent out to you way back when, because you know what, 3 weeks, it goes by in a hurry, and we can barely remember it half the time. So way back when, we sent you the very first tribe tool, which was the Things I Love list. You guys gave us some really great feedback on the Things I Love list. I loved going through that with you. The Things I Love list really helped you walk through your day, be conscious about the things that you love, helped you go back to your childhood and think about the things that you used to love that maybe you want to do again, and maybe some things that you're doing that you don't love so much, or something that you want to get back to. And that went ahead and morphed into a I am activity. The I am activity was so much fun. You guys really dove into that, and some of you sent them to me and shared with me some of your very powerful I am statements. I am is one of the most powerful things that we can say. How often is it that I am tired manifests into exactly that? Or I am not pretty, or I don't feel good about myself, or I'm too lazy to exercise. So the I am statements are extremely important. And that activity is, again, self-paced. It's kind of a big one. It takes some time and it takes some layers, but you came up with some wonderful and very powerful statements about yourselves. In week 2, we took both of those activities and we looked at our tribes. And that one, again, multi-layered, lots of fun. You could get out colored markers for this one if you wanted to. But we went through and we talked about what are tribes. If we think that we just have a single tribe, we're probably not thinking big enough. There are tribes in all of the aspects of our lives. And they can be work tribes. They can be tribes around our kids, or tribes around our animals, or tribes around an activity that we love to do. And sometimes those tribes cross over, and sometimes the tribes stand alone. Sometimes the people in our tribes know other people in our tribes, and it's a beautiful thing. And then we started to look at the people that were in our tribes and what kind of time that we were spending with them. And this was the Follow Your Light activity. And so really thinking about all of the people in your life, and were there people that you were spending time with that you wanted to be spending time with, and how you could spend more time with them if that was possible. This week, we took all 4 of those activities and we put them into a core values activity. So we're going to slow down just a little bit and talk about that a little bit more. In the past calls, we've had a little bit of feedback on the activity that we've done for the week. Today, I'm just going to share with you some of the things that I've seen with some of the other people that when we do tribe talks with other women and groups, some of the feedback that we get and some of the things that other people talk about. So we asked you to go way back to who you were when you were somewhere between earliest memory and 7 years old. Believe it or not, our values are established by the time we're 7 years old. So if we think about what were some of the fondest memories that we have, who were you with? Who was there with you? And what was important to you at that time of your life? Now, even if someone's had a difficult childhood in their early years, if someone was neglected, for instance, what the value would come out of that was someone would want to nurturing, could be a value that would come out of that. Values are never negative. If someone had a family loss and they didn't have a family at that time, family may become something that was very valuable. So when we go back and we look at the things that were valuable to us before we were 7, we asked you to then, in the left-hand column on the second page, turn what was important to you into values. So if a personal value is a people's internal concept of what is good, beneficial, important, useful, beautiful, desirable, and constructive, then examples could include honesty or humor, commitment, passion, hard work, courage, education. All of those are examples of values, and we asked you to write down what values came to mind when you looked at those words. And then, just as importantly, because it's kind of a word game, different words mean different things to different people. So defining what that value is very important. Writing out what you mean by that word and why that is a value for you. And then we asked in the far right column to go back through and mark the values that you still feel are the most true. Values, probably you want to have about 3 to 5 that you can just recite at any point in time. 5 is a great number. But knowing what that value is and knowing what the definition of that value is very important. So then today we're going to take that activity and we're going to turn it into the Tribe It Forward activity. So just looking back over Tribe of Women and the 3 pillars of tribe, I see you, which is accepting yourself and others. I hear you, which is relationships and communication, your tribe, building your tribe. And this is I feel you. How do we bring who we are to the world? How do we drive that forward? Well, it starts with your core values. And then it's going to manifest into the Tribe It Forward activity. So what we're doing with this is, where do you spend your time? And who are you spending your time with? A little bit building on the My Tribes activity and your light people. And when we identify those and ways that we're going to spend more time with them, this is an activity to ask you, how are you spending your time? So you can be going through your day. You can go ahead and sit down and just brainstorm as many as you possibly can think of. Like in the morning I get up and I eat breakfast with my kids or my spouse or my puppy. listen, a puppy can be a light person, believe me. They're very important in people's lives. So the other part is that, and then you walk out the door. Where are you going? What are you doing? You may be going to work. How does that make you feel? Who's there with you? And then through your day into your evening, even if it's something very small that you do and do for yourself. Are you doing yoga in the morning? Are you going for walks with friends in the afternoon? Do you have social activities? Do you have volunteer activities? All of those are very important to list. So I think there's only about 8 slots on here. If you need to start making another list, great. Be as detailed or as sparse as you want, but think of as much as you possibly can. Maybe even take a couple of days and kind of walk through your days as you go. Take a whole week if you want. This is your activity. So next, you want to put an X next to the activities, the things that fill your cup. So this is where you think back to your things I love list and your I am statements. What are those things that are filling your cup that are in alignment with those things? And then next to the people that you do them with, put a star next to your light people. And it doesn't have to be in the column on the right. You can just literally put it next to the people. Because when we go to work, we're obviously not working with just one people. We may be working with 50 people that we see every day. So put a star next to the people that you consider to be your light people. And they may be people that you didn't think of in the previous activity, so you might get to identify some more. That'll be great. And in this one, think about the My Tribes activity and think about the Follow Your Light activity. So then put a check mark in the column to the right of the things you do and the people that you do them with. And what of those activities and people most closely align with your core values? So you're going to look back at your core values, and you're going to look at what you do and who you do it with, and check mark what activities and people are aligned with your core values. Easy, right? It could take weeks. This could take months if you wanted to. It's fine. It's at your pace. So then you're going to take that list, and you're going to look at your core value alignment. And you're going to review the things above that you're doing and the people that you're spending time with, and the ones that do not closely align with your core values. You are going to brainstorm some alternatives to those activities or people that more closely align with your core values. So maybe one of the things that you're doing is you're volunteering somewhere. And when you look at all of the things that you're doing, maybe your volunteer activity isn't closely aligned with something that you're deeply passionate about or your core values, and maybe you're not spending time with the people that are some of your light people. Well, maybe the alternative to that would be to find another volunteer activity that does more closely align. It can be and has been as extreme as people saying, I need to find a new job. So it might be small. It might be I'm not spending my social time with the people that fill my cup, and the things that we're doing are really not aligned with what it is that is so valuable to me. And so changing social activities and changing friends can be very hard, but going toward the people who are your light people will make it a lot easier, especially when you have them identified. So then in the box next to each, list one thing that you will do, just one, in the next 30 days that you're going to do to work toward the things and the people that you more closely align with in your core values. And again, this goes from your things I love list to your I am list to your My Tribe to your Follow Your Light, goes through your core values, and this is where the rubber meets the road. Hey, we're on a road trip. That's great. This is exactly what needs to happen. And so you're going to take that, and what's the one thing that you're going to do in the next 30 days in order to meet that? And you have a long list that you have the opportunity to fill, or you can just do one thing, because the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So speaking of journey, it's been really, really wonderful to be here with you today, all for the past 3 weeks. And so I've got a few reminders for you, since it's just me talking to you and you're going to see this eventually. I want to remind you that this is not the end of our journey. It's only the beginning, and that we have a long way to go together. So please stay in touch. And all the ways that you can stay in touch are obviously through social media, because that's how everybody stays in touch these days. We have Instagram. We have Twitter, both at tribeofwomen.com, at Tribe of Women. Instagram, Twitter, at Tribe of Women. And then we have our Facebook page, which is Tribe of Women. We also have our podcast, Tribe Talk. If you didn't know that we have a podcast, please go and check it out. This is probably where our rubber meets the road. This is what we do that we love, that speaks to who we are, that is in alignment with our values and is us following our light. So our podcast is Tribe Talk, and you can find it on our website, which is tribeofwomen.com, under podcast, and you can click there. And if you love it, there's also a Be a Patron button, which leads you to Patreon if you want to help support that. And it's on all of the platforms. So if you go to iTunes, Podcast Addict, Stitcher, any of the supported platforms, you can find Tribe Talk and get to know us a little bit better. And then, of course, last but not least, you can go to our website, where you will find opportunities for us to come and talk to you in person. We do that. We do in-person speaking engagements, workshops, retreats, all kinds of options there. And our website is also where our blog is, which is getting more active, and where you will find all of our major updates. So this coaching series, when it comes up again, after you've helped us perfect it a little bit with your feedback, we will be able to let you know when the next series will come out in the fall, because we are doing it quarterly. All right, lovelies. Our vacation is over. Wah, wah, wah. But it's been wonderful, and it's been worth every single mile with you, and every single laugh, and every single tear, and every single lesson, all of the learnings, all of the things that we've done together. Oh, thank you so, so much. And now we are going to pull up into our respective driveways, and we are going to give each other those goodbye hugs, and never say goodbye, only say see you later, because we will see you later. So thank you all for being here, and until next time, we'll see you later. Bye.